This is it. This is Vanquish Soul 3.0. It's pretty late. I've been up all night, but I had to get this video out there. Vanquish Soul struggles in the current format that we're in, and I figured that I'd turn its weaknesses into its own strengths. Now let me explain. I've turned the deck into a go second version. You will let your opponent play all their cards, then you'll pick away at them and then be able to OTK on top of that. And if you're not able to OTK, you then got field presence and you'll have hand advantage, which at that point means you've already won. Quite a few changes have made to this deck. There's going to be quite a few cards you might not have seen before, but I'll get into those once we hit them. And if there's any cards in the deck that you feel like you aren't able to have right now because that one, they're expensive, or two, you're waiting for a future reprint, let me know in the comments below and I can suggest an alternative for that. I'm going to show you some combos at the end of the video, so stay tuned for those. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see more updates about Vanquish Soul or any future decks that Konami are going to release, click that subscribe button. The deck is 40 cards. It's 15 card extra, 15 card side. It's got some nice cards in the extra deck and it's got some nice cards in the side deck as well as the main. So here we go. This is the 40 card Vanquish Soul 3.0 deck list, the go second version. You're going to like it. And if you're unsure on anything, let me know below. To start with, we got the three best cards in the deck. Razen, the heart and the soul of the deck. You need this card. You need to see this card. You need to access this card straight away. Very important. Then we're only playing 2 Mad Love. You don't really need 3 of these. I'll explain as we get to the spell count. And there's some really nice plays you can do, which I'll show in the combos at the end. Then we're playing 3 Heavy Borga. And this is too essential not to play. You just have to play 3. It's the best one. It's better than Caesar Valius because this can special summon itself like Caesar Valius. However, you can burn damage and then you can also draw a card. Also, you can win in time because of this card. There's going to be points in the game where you actually just want to burn them 1500 because of how many big guys and how many go second cards you're playing in this deck. So you're going to be quite surprised at how much damage you can deal in the turn of the game. And you should always be able to OTK. Then we have Caesar Valius. Caesar Valius, just a single copy. I did consider playing 2. You can up it to 2. And then the only Vanquish Soul spell we're playing that was searched by Mad Love, obviously we're playing Stake Your Souls, is Continue. We're not playing the Book of Moon in the main deck. The reason why is we're going second. We're not going first. Not going to be really good going second because of the other cards that we're playing. I did consider playing it, but I just felt like there's better cards to have when we go second rather than having that when we go first. Then we have 3 Stake Your Souls, Reinforcements of the Army, and 2 Durandal. Now this equip spell is very broken. You just need to equip it to any monster, and then you can add Razen from your deck, and then it destroys itself. You could play 3. Then next up, for the only hand traps we're maining, it's 3 Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring. I did contemplate maining Shifter over it because I feel like Shifter can have a higher impact. But if you're playing in locals and regionals, and I recommend playing Ash over Shifter. But if you're playing in like a YCS, then maybe you want to play Shifter instead. Shifter is actually in the side deck. You can always have that change around if you ever want to. Next up, we have the 3 Fenrir and the Rise Heart. We definitely have to play these. They're too aggressive. This just deals so much damage. Imagine going second with this. Summon this. Add the correct attribute that you want. So you can either add the fire or the earth. And this can attack, banish a monster your opponent has face down, and redeclare attack again. So you're basically using one of these cards to clear 2 monsters your opponent has. Or you're clearing a monster and attacking for 24 and you put them to 56. With the other cards in the deck, you're pretty much going to win at that point. Triple Kurikara. You have to play this in this deck if you're going second. It's so aggressive. It's so broken. It's really good against Pearly, really good against Kashtira. It's just really strong. It just deals with a lot for 1 card, and it summons a big monster because it gains 1500 for every monster attributed. It doesn't activate in hand, you just summon it. And in the end phase, you can just reborn your opponent's strongest monster and use it against them. Next, we have Triple Alpha Master of the Beasts. Alpha is really strong. With this card, you can summon it as many times as you want, but you only can use its bounce effect once per turn, and you're returning the monsters to the hand, which is really strong as well. So it's really nice to be able to do that because there's going to be big monsters that you don't want to be sending to the graveyard. You can then bounce it, clear the monster, and special summon it again as long as you don't have more attack on the field compared to your opponent. So then this can deal with a lot of problems your opponent has. These add value to the deck because this is a fire, this is an earth. The next few cards you might not know about, or you might have seen, but you might not have really thought much of them. Okay, well, the first one is obvious. You've definitely seen this card. It's Pancratops. It's a 1 of. When you summon it, it's a quick effect. You can destroy any card your opponent controls. Really strong. Have to play it. And it's a level 7 as well, so you can overlay it into a Rise Heart if you want to. Then we're playing 3 Surge de Fleur. What this card does, it's really good. You target a card you control, and you target a card your opponent controls. You destroy them, and then you special summon this card. When you special summon it, 2900 attack, and the card that you're wanting to destroy almost every single time is Rock of the Vanquisher, the Link 1, because it's got 0 attack. And then you can destroy a card your opponent controls and the Rock to summon this. So it's going to be really nice. It's a Dark as well. So we've got Earth and we've got Fire, and now we've got Dark. So they all add to the deck. And then we're playing the 1 Predator Plant. This other effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target another monster in your graveyard, return it to the deck. You target one of the monsters in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, then add one level 1 plant monster in your deck or graveyard to the hand. So you add this guy. Now what this guy does is, once while it's face up in the pendulum scale, target one other face up spell and trap on the field and destroy it in the spell and trap zone. So it's going to come in handy. It's going to be nice against floodgates as well. And I figured it had to be included in the deck, because if you do commit to this and then you link it away, you can then add a dark from your deck to your hand or the grave to the hand and then use it as a dark, the heavy border to draw a card. So it's really nice. Definitely something that I would definitely play. And then the next up is Triple Frost, Harpy's Feather Duster, Change Your Heart, and the singular Triple Tactics talent. Now you're probably wondering why these cards. Okay, so against every deck when you go second, Frost is going to be live. Against Hurley, it's going to be live, because when they draw cards from Sleeping Memory underneath Noir, you're going to be able to do this against Kashtira when they have Shangri-La up and they're summoning from the deck. Frost is going to be live at every single point, because your opponent should be able to hand trap you as well. And then when you resolve this, you can then either get Duster, Change Your Heart, or Talents. And these are all going to help you OTK during the turn. This really does help you with the side deck as well when you go first, because you decide in game 3 if you go first or second, and you want to go first because of what's in the side deck. If you do not have Triple Tactics Frost, the alternatives you could play is you could play Free Super Poly, because it's a board breaker against your opponent. You just need to play the right targets in the extra deck. Or you could play more Talents, or you could not play these and play Free Shifter if you wanted to. But I really like these cards in the deck. They're really strong. They're going to help you win the game. So it's 40 main deck. Now for the extra. We have free Rock of the Vanquisher. Now you could potentially cut one of these cards if you want to. You don't really need free. You'll never really make free, to be honest, during the game. We then have the Linger Ebo. If you get Ibleed, you can just literally get rid of it, and you can just OTK. It's going to help you in the game as well. It's definitely worth a spot. I would rather play 2 of these and this than free Rock of the Vanquisher. So if you don't have space for this right now, but you're currently playing free Rock of the Vanquisher, cut this out, play this, definitely. Then we have Security Dragon, Cerberus, and Phoenix. So Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Cerberus you need, especially with Security Dragon. So once you make Rock of the Vanquisher, and then you make Security Dragon underneath it, target a monster your opponent controls because these are co-linked, and bounce the hand. Then you could link this away if you wanted to, and add another monster into Cerberus, discard a card, destroy a monster your opponent controls, draw a card, because they're co-linked, and then link this away into something else, summon this, destroy a back row, and then draw another card. So it's really nice. You're basically playing so many cards to clear from your opponent. So it's really aggressive. And the cool thing about going second with this is your opponent's going to commit the cards already. So it's going to help you out. Then for the final link monster, we're playing the Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos is really strong because it needs 3 different names to make it. However, if one of them are level 7 or higher, and we're playing a lot of level 7 or higher monsters in the deck, then your opponent can't target it, and it's 3k attack. And one of its effects is it can gain 1500 attack. So when it gains 1500 attack, your opponent is going to struggle dealing with a non-targetable 4500 monster. And then the following turn, it can attack, banish a card, or it can attack and then attack again. And it keeps the attack boost as well. So that's the link monsters. Then we're playing Baguska. So if your opponent does clock on and make you go first, you could just make Baguska. Hopefully that should be enough to survive the following turn. And then you can just unleash your whole hand and summon a bunch of strong monsters. Then we have Jackanine and Borbo. You definitely want these. There are going to be times where you want to opt with the Zeus line rather than commit your whole hand. Then we're playing Exciton Knight. Really like this card. I think you have to play it. It's very easy to make in the deck. Playing the singular Rise Heart. This card's going to get banned, so there's going to be other options to play instead of this. Easily make it in the deck by using 3 level 7s. And also, if you're playing against Kashtira and they have Shangri-La up and they use the effect, you can turn any of your Kashtira monsters into this. Or you can go Frost, get Change Your Heart or Talents, take your opponent's Kashtira monster, and then overlay your own Rise Heart. Then we're playing a singular copy of Zeus. You don't need more because we're going for the OTK rather than Zeus line. But there are going to be times, like I mentioned, where you are going to want to go the Zeus line first. And then we're playing the singular copy of Baron. There are going to be times where you want to summon Ash Blossom and synchro with your level 7 into this, destroy a card, have a negation, whilst you commit more cards to be able to win the game. As you can see with the Etch deck, it's very disruptive against your opponent, and it's going to really help you out in the grind game and even in the short-term game to help you win the match. And now for the side deck. So in the side deck, we're playing free Go Spell. Now this is to help you against, well, quite a few decks actually, but it's mainly there to help you against Branded and to help you against Labyrinth. It's going to be really strong against those decks, and it's a nerf, so it adds value to the deck. Then we're playing free Shifter. Shifter's really strong. I just opted to main Ash over this just because it's a fire as well, so it's nice to reveal Stake Your Soul, and for the reasons I mentioned previously. You can side this in quite a lot of the time, and you're going to want to. This card shuts off a lot of decks. It's very good to side in against Pearly, because you can banish all the spells. It's going to be really nice against even the Unchained deck. That's seemingly doing pretty well right now. It's a very strong card. I'm sure you're aware of how good it is. So yeah, this card is something you definitely want to side deck. Then we're siding the one copy of Vanquish Soul Dust Devil. The reason why this is in here is when you go first, you're going to want to be able to search some sort of interruption against your opponent. And this is probably one of the best ones to search, just because Book of Moon is really strong right now. And then we're playing 2 copies of Lightning Storm. You could main it, but I figured having Duster is probably better than having this. And the thing is as well, you're going to want to summon a lot of cards. So you don't really want to regek your opponent's whole board yet by the time you start summoning monsters. So I figured Lightning Storm would make a good point in the deck. Triple Dimensional Barrier and Triple Eradicate a Virus. Now these cards are broken, and these cards are definitely worth switching to go first rather than second when you're against certain decks. So, for example, if you're against Kashtira, you should always win, but now they're all siding Eradicate a Virus too. So you're probably just going to want to go first, Eradicate them, call spells, and they're going to have a hard time playing, especially when you side in this as well. So if you have like these two set up with this, you can book other monsters they summon with Eradicate calling spells. You know the whole hand. You know that the spells they draw every turn are going to get destroyed. You should win from that point. But also, if you're against Pearly or against Branded, you're going to want to go first because you can just call XYZs or fusions. Or if you're against Manadinium, then you can just call synchros and usually win from that point. So these are the reasons why you'd want to go first in the deck rather than go second. But in game 1, you don't play these cards, so you definitely would rather go second in this version. Now, let me show you a few combos with the deck just to help you understand the deck a bit more, just to help you in your tournaments that you're playing in. So first of all, we're going to start with normal summon Razen. We're going to use Razen's effect to search Mad Love. Then we're going to link away the Razen, and we're going to make Rock of the Vanquisher. Then, with Rock of the Vanquisher, we're then going to special summon our Mad Love to our hand, use Mad Love's effect to search Vanquish Soul Continue. Then we're going to activate Continue, pay 500 life to summon back the Razen. And then from this point, we're going to overlay these two and summon Zodiac Jackanine. Then we're going to overlay into Borbo. We're going to attack directly with Borbo. And then in main phase 2, we're going to overlay the Zeus. Now it's got 4 materials underneath it. So now we can detach these two to destroy the board. And then we can pass our turn. And then when we pass our turn, we then have 2 materials underneath Zeus to prevent our opponent being able to commit to the board until we Zeus them. And then we should have multiple cards in our hand because we've only used 1 card for this combo. Okay, so the next combo is just to minimize the opportunity your opponent's going to use Draw and Lockbird against you. So you're technically playing around Draw and Lockbird just to guarantee to net you a draw for the game. So what's going to happen is you're going to normal summon Razen, use Razen's effect, ask your opponent for a response. And if they don't respond, or if they do respond, no problem, then you're going to chain a Heavy Borger, use the effect, target Razen. So you're going to bounce the Razen to your hand, and then Razen's going to add you Mad Love to your hand. So now that you added a card to your hand, your opponent now gets the opportunity to activate Droll and Lockbird. When they activate Droll and Lockbird, you can then just chain Heavy Borger's effect, reveal Mad Love in your hand, and then you can draw a card. This will come up quite a few times. There's going to be many points where you can actually do this when you have Borger in your hand. If you don't have Razen in your hand, and let's say you just have Borger and Mad Love, you can normal summon Mad Love, activate the effect, chain Borger, bounces to hand, then you're going to add the spell to your hand, then your opponent's going to draw you, then you're going to chain this, reveal Mad Love that's now in your hand, and draw a card. So you're not completely playing around Drollbird, but in this scenario, you're forcing your opponent to draw you, You're going to guarantee a draw from Heavy Borger, and it's going to actually help you maintain the game advantage during the game. And this might actually help you. Just knowing this alone should increase your win percentage across the whole entire tournament. Okay, that's it. That was Vanquish Soul 3.0. If you want to see Vanquish Soul 4.0 with Evolution Synchron in it, then let me know.